Welcome to r/MaliciousCompliance, where people conform to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. Hit the like and subscribe, and let's begin. We have 3 great stories for you today. The first story, Stiletto heels and rubber floors? I, 30 female, used to work for a company that outsourced a lot of graphic designs, media work to other local contractor companies. Formerly, my manager, 49 male, would be the one to visit these contractors with the brief and storyboard designs, but occasionally, I would attend instead. We had been working with this particular contractor for a few weeks, and on quite short notice, I was asked to cover a meeting. No problem, I said. I get along well with my manager, and he would even load our van with all of our material, 3 to 4 flip charts, and 8 or 9 small boxes of blank product templates. I had not visited this particular graphics consultancy contractor before, but when I arrived, it was clear that they'd drawn inspiration for their office layout from Google. You know the type. Colorful wallpaper, beanbag chairs, arcade machines in the break room, etc. Everybody was dressed casually. Jeans, t-shirt, trainers. I didn't think anything of it. Until I was shown to the room where we would be having our meeting. I think they called it Inspiration Activity Suite, or something. No doubt where they would do office yoga at lunchtime or something. There were 3 employees from the contractor in the meeting, and just me from my company. Anyway, I straight away noticed the floor was that soft rubber style that you normally see in gyms and children's playpens. I was in my standard office attire, which included a pair of high heels. I could clearly see that this floor was not high heel friendly. To be respectful, I went to take my heels off before I stepped into the room. I was asked by one of the guys, who turned out to be their illustrations director, "Please put your shoes back on." I politely pointed out that I didn't think my heels were suitable for the floor, and perhaps I should leave my shoes at the door. I was told again, in a slightly less friendly tone, "You must wear shoes at all times in this building." I politely smiled and said, "That's fine. Would there perhaps be a different room that we could use, please?" This time, I was told in a pretty direct tone, "This room is fine. We never have any issues when my manager visits, so I think this is suitable. Can we focus on the project instead of critiquing our PPE, personal protective equipment, policy, please?" That little dig annoyed me. I'm a customer in their office. I'm the only one wearing heels in the entire building, and I'm trying not to ruin their trendy office space. Plus, there was no industrial equipment in this office. What was their PPE policy if everybody was wearing jeans and trainers? Anyway, I took 2 steps into the meeting room and could feel my heels sink instantly. Well, too late now. It is a safety policy, I thought to myself. The malicious compliance? I set up each storyboard several feet away from each of the others and moved them around a few times in the meeting. Then all of the boxes and laid them out on either side of the room, even though we didn't need the boxes for this meeting. I made as much effort as I could to walk around and be as animated as I could through their entire session. At the end of it, I surveyed my work. I'd left little heel imprints everywhere I'd been walking in the room. The floor wasn't technically ruined, but it was definitely less sightly than it was before I walked around on it. I'm not a big lady. I'm 5'7" and about 160 pounds. But obviously, the soft rubber floor wasn't designed with stiletto heels in mind. I'm not sure if the contractor guys had figured out why I had originally asked, but they seemed a little bit quieter when we shook hands at the end of the meeting. They even offered to let me wait in reception, and they'd bring all the storyboards and boxes out themselves. "Just grab a coffee," they said. "We will get your equipment for you." I visited their office again a few weeks later with my manager. I purposely wore flat shoes that day, and they had put a sign up outside the particular room saying, "No unsuitable footwear." By the time we'd finished the project about 6 months later, the rubber floor had been removed and replaced with a more traditional carpet. I'd like to say there was more to the story, but I never went back to their office, and they lost the contract for not being able to deliver the required samples for 3 separate projects. Perhaps they weren't wearing the correct PPE. The second story, When Mom Goes on Strike. When I was a baby, my mother was home full-time, with me and my 3 siblings under the age of 6. According to my mother, one day my father comes home and is mad because dinner isn't ready and waiting for him. Mom tells him that she's been busy and it'll be ready soon. Dad says he doesn't know why she didn't do it sooner. And here is his mistake, because it's not like she's been doing anything all day, but sitting around babysitting. Foolish, foolish man. Game on. My mother decides she will show him what life is like when she sits around all day doing nothing. For the next few days, Mom lets the kids run wild. She picks up nothing. She doesn't tell the kids to pick up anything. She doesn't stop the kids from getting into anything. Mom said she just sat around making sure nobody was doing anything dangerous. She doesn't clean, do laundry, etc. But dinner was waiting. After several days of a hot mess at home, my father couldn't take it. He apologized, admitted he was wrong. Quite a milestone in our family. Dad was not known for admitting he was wrong, or apologizing. Mom, 1. Dad, 0. The third story. Under no circumstances do you send two people on breaks at the same time. Sure, I can do that. Have fun dealing with the mess. I was told by my assistant manager to never send two people at the same time for breaks. So the next day, I scheduled every break I had with no overlapping. I wasn't even done with my first coffee before I should have been on lunches. So, I went to the store manager and asked for help and some tips. As her policy is, if you need help, ask. She reads it, realizes no one's been on lunch yet, and asks me why. So I tell her yesterday I was told under no circumstances am I to ever send two people at the same time. Store manager sends me for lunch. Calls my assistant manager in the office. I return an hour later. Store manager tells me, assistant manager is on the floor. She's covering breaks for you. She is to remain on the floor until you are ready and caught up. If you need anything covered or any breaks done, get that done before you send her on any breaks. So satisfying telling my boss you're spending the day in cosmetics. I hope you enjoyed these stories. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to know when the new videos come out.